Hi, my name is Dallin Stevens, and I'm doing a presentation on CSS Pseudo-elements and Pseudo-classes. The source of my presentation I'm taking from W3 Schools, which is a great resource for teaching us about pseudo-elements and pseudo-classes. I would like to first start out by helping us to distinguish the difference between pseudo-elements and pseudo-classes. If we look at the definition for pseudo-elements, as said here, you can see a CSS pseudo-element is used to style specific parts of an element. A pseudo-class is used to define a specific state of an element. So what was the difference? You can see here the pseudo-elements is to style specific parts of an element. What does that mean? Well, if you can see here, an example could be the first line. You can see here the first line of a paragraph, the paragraph P tag. That's just part of an element, part of the paragraph, just the first line. Other differentiating things would be, you can see here that the pseudo element has two colons, as you can see there, as an example, and pseudo classes only have one colon. The other thing to recognize is that if we look at the syntax, the selector always comes first. What's a selector? Well, for example, the paragraph selector. And you have pseudo element comes after. So same with pseudo classes, as you can see here. If you look at the syntax, you've got the selector comes first, the pseudo class comes after. So again, pseudo class comes after, and as well as pseudo element. The other thing to recognize is that if I look down here and see all the different kinds of pseudo elements. Let me just scroll down here. It says here all CSS pseudo elements. I could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So that's not really that many of them. But for pseudo classes, we have a lot more of them. As I scroll down here, you can see there's a pretty good sized list here. Now I'm going to go over each one of these pseudo elements. Now if I add the content duck, you can see here if I run it, well, I want a space there between Donald and duck. You can see here it's throwing the duck after the P tag right there. But I just add a little space there. You can see here now my name is Donald Duck. Now I'm going to go over the before selector. And if I run it, then you can see here it asserts my name is Donald Duck. Now I'm going to go over the first letter selector. Well, obviously it's not going to do anything to the H2 tag because I'm targeting the P tag. But will it affect all of these paragraphs? And also it would be the first letter, right? The first letter. So let's see what it does. So you can see here the red ones, that it skipped right over the H2 tag, but it did affect every single P tag. Obviously, if I just wanted to target just one P tag, let's say this one right here, and I made the class, for example, Mickey, and then if I run it, see how I just targeted that last one. The next selector I'm going over is the first line selector. But you can see here, what do you think it's going to do? If I run it, you can see here it affected the first line here. And if I actually manipulate the size of the screen, like let's say with responsive development, you can see here, even though the words kind of move over more, it still only gets the first line as I keep scrolling there. All right. The next selector I have here is the marker selector. If I mark it, say I make it red, see how it affects all of them here. All the markers, which are the ones that are in the unordered list, and the numbers here, 1, 2, 3, so on. Now I could also, you know, add some other things in there like font size. Maybe I say if I made it 20 pixels, let's see what it does. It made these bigger. And then if I just wanted to target, you know, maybe I wanted to target just these bullets and I want to target the numbers, then I could just add, well, let's see what happens if I just add UL. See, I didn't do anything, but if I've add UL and then Li, Li or whatever, you see it targets it. And even if I just set it like that, you can see here it actually ended up targeting both of them here. So if I just wanted it one or the other, let's do the numbers this time. Put OL here, ordered list. You can see here now it does that. Now I'm doing a demo of the selection pseudo element. As you can see here, if I run it, well, I don't see any red or yellow on the page, right? Well, I can't see it over here. But the selection is when I actually click on some of this text. Now, you can see here if I do this, see? I click on it and then kind of highlight it. Or maybe I go down here and text in a div, you can see here, or even here. Okay, now I'm going to demo some pseudo classes. I don't know if I'll do all of them, depends on how much time I have. Here is the active selector. The active selector is going to change the background color to yellow. I can see for a particular link. So if I click on whatever link, say I click on HTML, and I hold it down, you can see here the yellow. Once I let go, anyway, that's the active selector. Here's the checked pseudo class. As you can see here, the one that's checked for this radio is right here, and you can see it's huge right here. If I uncheck it, well, actually it doesn't look like that. Well, I could go to female and see how it changes there, or if I go here, that's how it's affected. This one helps illustrate the enabled and disabled pseudo classes. As you can see here, actually to make it a little bit more explanatory, this one's the yellow. If I run it here, see, and this one's kind of like gray, or let's make it red this time, disabled. So anyway, the disabled one, why is this one disabled? Well, because it's, if you see on the input down here, it's labeled disabled. Both of these are workable. You know, I can click on it, I can change the text. That's why these are enabled, even though I don't have like something specified specifically here. Here is the focus pseudo class. You can see here it's supposed to make the background color yellow. Right now it's doing, you don't see anything, but if I make how do I make the focus? Well, if I click on one of these, if I click on that, see it makes it yellow, click off of it. That's what that does. Here is the hover pseudo class targeting the A tag or A element or a selector anyway, and this one targets the div. See the hover there. So you can see here with the A tag, you know, if I hover over it, see how it turns it yellow. And for the div tag, I have a hover where it's going to change the background color to light gray, and the text color to black. So you can see here when I do that, I can target the div for hover. Here's the nth child pseudo class. This one, if you look with it's targeting the div, and the second selects the second element of the div. So for example, if we look down here with the divs, I can see three of these right here, div, 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 you know, and notice that which one is supposed to make it red, right? So It's the second one, so it didn't even do anything to this or to the third one, but it got the second one. As you can see here, it targeted, made it red, the background color. Now for the Lee, it's going to target the second Lee and make it light green. So if you look down here, here's the second Lee, and it did it. Second line list item. This one doesn't have any particular selector at the front, so it's just every third element among any group of siblings, so it's just any of them. So with the body, it's supposed to hit the third one. So if I look here in body, you've got, here's one div, here's two divs, here's three, so it should hit this third one and make it yellow, and it did, as you can see here. And also you can see here it hit this third Lee here. Here's the nth of type pseudo class. As you can see here in this first example, it's going to hit the second one of the divs. So if you look down here in the HTML, there's three of these here, and it's gonna, you can see here, it'll get this one, second one, which it does. Well, let's see if it does. Yeah, it turned it red. See, it's the second one out of these three right here. And then if I target the second Lee, it'll make it light green. So here it is, it targets this one and makes it light green. And then you have the nth of type, which is going to, since there's nothing in front of this colon, it's going to do every, well, let's see how that goes. So if you have the body tag, for example, it's going to hit the third one. So you got 1, 2, and 3 with the divs. So it'll hit the third div and make it yellow. And then you've got the third Lee. It'll hit the third Lee as well. So it'll get this one, make it yellow.